This one email that came to us was
Yeah.
was pretty exciting.
It was like the day we got back from MagFest, like that evening, I was checking the contact at email account. It was super weird because it says it's from somebody named Wayne Chang and it says Souls for the Taking reviewer copy. And I was like, what's this? Because one of the things Josh and I started doing years ago was try to get on a bunch of reviewer copy lists so we could get hopefully physical books, but at the very least some PDF books.
Sure.
And it says, "Hello there. My name is Wayne Chang, and I'm the producer of a brand new Forgotten Realms book, Souls for the Taking by Ed Greenwood and Reese York. We've probably spoken in the past about reviewing one of our other Eberron books on DM's Guild. Wayne, if you hear this, we haven't spoken before, but I'm glad you reached out. But if you have other books, please feel free to reach out. Souls for the Taking will be available later this week on PDF, print, or print on demand, blah, 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 blah. And it's Souls for the Taking, The Return of Larlock, Book 1 by Ed Greenwood and Reese York." And I saw this. I'm like, wow, Ed Greenwood, the creator of Forgotten Realms, the creator of
The
Faerun.
creator of the
Yeah,
Forgotten Realms.
yeah, and
Have you heard
yeah,
of
and
it?
he does all this other stuff too. Like I remember it was the last time we were at PAX Unplugged. I was just walking past a booth, sort of on the fringes of the vendor area, and they had these like Norse adventures, and I ended up talking to the guy about it. He's like, yeah, Ed Greenwood wrote this source book for us. So Ed's out there just doing all kinds of stuff. It really wasn't connecting with me that it was a Forgotten Realms book. I was thinking it was going to be some other kind of like source book that you could put into any campaign, and maybe it would just have the flavor of Forgotten
Mhm.
Realms, completely ignoring that he spelled out in the first sentence that it was a Forgotten Realms book, right?
When we
But
received
so
that email, I thought that it was gonna be like an adventure in the Forgotten Realms. Like, I thought this
yeah,
was gonna be a fully launched out, here are the steps that the GM needs to take because, like, scrolling through it initially, there were maps and there were kind of like character sheets or like NPC sheets of people that you would meet along the way.
yeah, I was so confused. I was so confused because I expected the same thing. And then I sent you and Josh the thing, and I was like, well, and looking at it, it's kind of crazy because the book's like 130 pages or something like that. And
It's pretty
fully
short as far as books go.
like really like the first 100 pages, just a narrative. Yeah,
Like, the
chapter
first 100
20.
and 110 pages, and then the remainder is so there's
There's like 30.
153. The remainder, 30 pages are, lore-based.
Yeah, it's strange. And I know the way my voice sounds right now, it's like, well, this is strange and ridiculous. I don't mean it's ridiculous because I don't want to take anything away from the work. It's just when somebody says Ed Greenwood's got a new Forgotten Realms book, can I send it to you? This is not what you expect when you get it. Um, and it's interesting because they published this on DM's Guild. And well, let me take a step back for a second. It's done by this company called Visionary Productions, and that guy Wayne, I think he's the head of it.
Hmm.
And they publish it through DM's Guild. And so that answers one question, which is how can Ed Greenwood be writing a Forgotten Realms book since he created that for TSR, and Wizards owns it, right? But since
Right.
they're publishing it under DM's Guild, they have that special use case where if you publish exclusively on DM's Guild, you can use all that stuff. But the interesting thing about this is like talking about the structure of the book. Like we said, the first 100 and some pages is the story, and it ends on a to be continued, which you would expect from like something that's like book one. But then, almost like a dramatis personae in like a play or something like that, we have information on all these characters toward the back. And there's a stat block for a bone colossus.
This is sick, by
There,
the way.
yeah, it is really
Absolutely
cool.
would use in my future campaigns.
Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. There's uh, a bunch of other characters in there. There's a spell. There's a city description. It's all stuff that you would expect to find in an adventure book. And but it's not an adventure book. It's a narrative that and I guess that it's done this way so you sort of get a sense for the world and it feels fuller because it's written in a narrative. And then you have all this information at the back that lets you slot into that world in your adventure. And
Right.
also, I do think DM's
How did
Guild,
all TTRPGs start? Brandon, with a book, with Lord of
right,
the Rings.
right. Like this is like the epitome of what they say about like if you're writing an adventure that's so on the rails that your party can't influence it, what you've actually written is a book. And so maybe Ed Greenwood got tired of people messing up his stories by
Maybe. I
using
mean,
their own agency.
I know just through like adventure writing alone that we've done for G&G, it's become increasingly difficult for me to get my page count down under 20. It's like, no, I need all the space to define all the
Mhm.
things and all the ways that this can resolve. And I can't trust the GM to just figure it out. So perhaps this is the same kind of impulse of like wanting to present what the full ideated story is and then having enough materials in there for a GM to use it in their own games.
Yeah, and DM's Guild I think has like limitations slash restrictions on like fiction, like putting fiction on there.
Hmm.
So like number one, probably if your DM's Guild and Ed Greenwood of all people comes to you and says, I would like to put a fiction set in the Forgotten Realms for sale on DM's Guild, you're probably going to say yes, regardless of your rules. But also, maybe all this stuff is included in the back to maybe like classify it as a source book, really.
Ah,
Um,
right. To say, but we had a map in there and stat blocks.
yeah, there's a map, there's stat blocks, there's all kinds of stuff. Um, and you can get it as a PDF. You can also get it as a soft cover. The PDF is $20. And the soft cover, it's 6x9, is like $28. It seems like a little much for what you're getting, honestly.
Well, I don't know. It seems to be in line with book prices.
Well, let
'Cause
me
this is a
articulate.
book, right? Like how long is your average adventure? I said 20, being an ambitious GM slash
Yeah,
designer.
yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It gives you a lot of elements for an adventure. It doesn't make it easy for you. It's like you
You
have
wish
to
there were a
distill.
bulleted synopsis before each chapter.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to distill the adventure out of this narrative if you want to do it that way. It's like an adventure but with more steps, right? It's like if I just bought The Hobbit and was like, okay, I'm going to go through chapter by chapter and figure out all the story beats and encounters and everything. Um I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just if you have other stuff, if you have the officially licensed Hobbit like tabletop adventure, use that because it's already done a lot of the hard work for you. Um, I don't know. I feel like $20 for a PDF, that's a little much.
Eh, in this economy, I feel like that's on par for what we're expecting to see. Full campaign guides are what now? 60? 70 with all the bells and whistles? If you
Yeah,
want
they
a
might be
Kickstarter
70 at this
pledge,
point.
it's like 150 for the fixins.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm the one who's out of touch. No, am I out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong. Um, but
Spoken like a
I
father.
yeah, I feel like for the PDF version of it, $20 is a little much to have to do all the work. And but let me sort of qualify that with some nuance. Um, they certainly get a lot of goodwill based on Ed Greenwood's name being
Mm.
real big on the front of here. For people who know, for people who care, that's pretty important because that was the thing that raised my eyebrow. I've not heard of Reese York. I don't know if Reese York is like a tabletop person or if they are kind of a ghostwriter who helped Ed write the narrative on this. I really don't know. But um, if Ed Greenwood's name wasn't on this, I think $20 would be kind of insane. Right now, I think it's just a little bit of a stretch. If it were $20 and it was a full source book that took me, or an adventure book that took me through, like I don't know, 8 or 9 chapters of an adventure, like a sort of a campaign or a mini campaign, absolutely, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it might, right? Because this is just book one. How many books were supposed to
Mhm.
be in the series?
I don't know. I guess it probably depends on how many people spend $20 on the PDF.
And what if this is just like clever marketing? It's like, okay, we're going to saturate the market with these books, and then once they're hooked, we're going to release the campaign frame so for everyone to play through.
I
Too
mean,
much
that's
work?
possible. That's possible. That was not included in the email with any kind of marketing campaign or plan.
Right. Those aren't representations we're making on their behalf. We're just supposing over here.
Yeah. It looks, if you look in the credits, it looks like Reese York was also a graphic artist on the book and an interior illustrator. So
Hmm.
they seem very much like they are a polymath in this. And also there were play testers on this, and I'm guessing those were folks who were just testing to make sure like the spell and the stat blocks were balanced.
Okay, here's what I think this is. They
Okay.
had E- Ed and Reese and the playtesters. And
Hmm.
I'll have to do some more pattern recognition. Maybe David, he's mentioned twice. All of them were in this D&D group together. They had a wonderful campaign. They want to memorialize it. This is how we're doing it.
Hmm.
We're going through books, we're creating the character art. We have some areas that were already explored in the previous game. And then, okay, now that everybody's hooked on the books, we release the actual play footage and campaign frame. Starting to get the hang of this marketing thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite fantasy series of all time was based off of a D&D game that happened in the late 70s. It was the author. The author was like the GM when he was in college, and then he graduated and became a writer. And he ended up just writing the history of the D&D world that he played in. So everything in all the books takes place like 500 years before his campaign.
Yeah, I mean listen, you spend what, 3, 5 years immersed in one singular realm. Like, of course, you're gonna want to write a book about it. It's become like your part of your life.
Yeah. And I've not heard of Visionary Productions before they sent out that email, but it is interesting to note they've got probably 6 other. If you go to their website, they've got like 6 other DMs Guild things, 2 of which are Eberron focused and are written by Keith Baker, who created Eberron, who
Ooh,
I met at a Kickstarter party at PAX a couple of years ago, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and he was wearing that cowboy hat, walking around the upstairs of a bar. Very cool guy, dropping names on Keith Baker, who would never remember me. But it so like
sure
this
you
isn't
will if
coming
you're
out of,
wearing those skinny jeans at the time. That's your signature.
yeah, I do like my skinny jeans.
I mean, feel free to take over the screen share at all. I don't want to I don't want to scroll through too much of this book because,
No,
it was a good read. I enjoyed the way that the plot unfolded. I'm very much looking forward to book number 2. I would love to see more delicious character art and all of the baddie monsters that you fought because that is how I get inspiration for my games.
yeah. And the plot, I will say, is, and I don't mean this negatively, is it's exactly what you'd expect from an adventure. It's 3 people who get into a bad situation and have to work together to get through the situation that usually involves them taking a thing to a place. It's absolutely cut and dry the plot structure of an adventure. And again, I want to underline, I do not mean that as a negative thing because it's Ed Greenwood. He knows what he's doing when it comes to writing in that structure. And I mean, it's good. The dialogue is good. The plot is good. The characters seem pretty fleshed out from what I read. It's good. It's just not what I was expecting. And I'm just trying to make certain I'm getting across the idea that that does not mean I think it's bad. It's just not what I was expecting. And also, I think it's a little bit overpriced.
All right. Okay. Listen, Mr. $20. That is the price of a drink in DC. Okay? That
But you know
is
what the difference? You know what the difference is? The drink is a physical thing that you can hold in your hand, not a collection of data that's
okay.
arranged in a layout.
All right. You know what? You got a printer too. Okay? Just print it out, and then there's a tangible thing that you can hold in your hand that no one can take away from you. Future predictions for this book that we read?
I think Ed Greenwood's name guarantees that we get at least a book 2 on this. And I hadn't thought about it, but you might be right that like they're trying to get these out and then it all gets sort of collected into a proper adventure kind of situation. But it's funny though, because like the more I think about that is okay, they take this story and they put it together in an adventure book. Like, what happens to the three main characters in the actual narrative? Do they get replaced by the party that
You'd make
is
them
using
pre-made
this?
characters, right? You would just make them pre-made characters. You'd be like, "Hey, if
Yeah,
your
that makes
party's having a
sense.
hard time fitting a character to this world, here are the characters that we use throughout the campaign. They're fully statted out." And I don't know if they care a lot about the character progression, then they'll have them available for each like chapter or portion as they level up. Maybe give guidance as to how the build is supposed to unfold.
Yeah, yeah. Again, at the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's a fine story. I enjoy that it's set in the Forgotten Realms. I think that really grounds it for a lot of people and will help it feel familiar, especially after like, things like Baldur's Gate 3. If you are a fan of like Baldur's Gate, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, like just anything in the Forgotten Realms, I would say, yeah, definitely pick this up because you'll probably enjoy it if you're a big Forgotten Realms fan.
It's
Um,
nicely timed too with the release of all those new Forgotten Realms materials.
yeah, exactly. That we spent a lot of time talking about. It would have been great if it would have been great if this came out like 3 months ago. That would have been a really good tie-in. But I would almost guarantee you that that was an influence on this.
Oh, likely, likely. I also enjoy, any attempt to circumvent the various rules and limitations that are imposed on any system, being that you can only put games, like fully fleshed out games on DM's Guild. Now, like, I have some ideas for fanfic that might have a perfect home after this.
Yeah, then you can just point at Ed
I'll
Greenwood,
just
be
put a
like,
map on the back.
yeah, you let him do it, and they're like, he's Ed fucking Greenwood. That's why
Oh,
he could do
yeah, this
it.
is why we can't have nice things. Well, if
Yeah,
I get banned from DM's Guild for trying to put fanfic on it, then I think that's a valiant way to go.
yeah. Just don't use the G&G email account.
We'll see.
Okay. But yeah, if anybody out there wants to take a look, Souls for the Taking, The Return of Larlock, Book 1, it's on DM's Guild. We'll drop the link in the show notes. It's Ed Greenwood and Reese York. It's by Visionary Productions. It's interesting. Structurally, if nothing else, it's very interesting what they're doing here, and I kind of want to see how this plays out.
And not to make this too much of an open invitation, but listener, viewer, if you ever have something that you publish on DM's Guild and you want to get our hot takes on what we think are strong and weak about it, we're happy to give you constructive criticism or hurt your feelings, depending on, what your vibe is.